You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined by Randy Angston in HQ. What's up, fella?
Hey, I like our nice morning sun.
Morning sun. If you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, we do have a YouTube channel. You're gonna see us squinting in this sun. We're doing a little morning show today. Busy day. Got to get a couple episodes in today, and so that's why we're here.
Yeah, knock them out.
Going into December. So today's December 1st. You're hearing this on the 8th. Yeah, what a crazy year this has been. It's been one for the history books. I don't think more has changed this year, any year than it has this year. It's just crazy, wild ride. I did look at our numbers, though. For November, we breached our numbers from last year. Talked to another gym owner, John, a good buddy of ours, also Iron Circle member. He is also doing better. He said he hasn't made more money ever in his business. So not all is doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some people out there still crushing it and doing well and finding ways. And I think that's what this episode is going to be about today, is finding ways.
That's good.
Yeah, finding ways. So we just finished up our Black Friday workshop as of last night. Those were our Cyber Monday offers. Interesting numbers coming back. I mean, one gym owner, Matt, who's also in our Iron Circle, he did over $300,000 in 10 days revenue.
What?
Yeah.
I know.
$300,000. Great campaign for many. A lot of numbers coming in around 10, 12, 15, 20. There's some 30s and 40s and 50s. I think Jerry, also another Iron Circle member, he's going to be doing closer to 90. So a lot of revenue.
I think there's a trend in there.
Yeah, I think so. Interesting how that works.
Isn't it interesting?
Yes, actually it is. Now that I'm thinking, yeah, guys, Iron Circle, for those of you that don't know, Iron Circle was created because I was being selfish. I was being selfish in a way that...
Pretty good way to put it.
I looked in the industry, I looked at who was doing great, and everybody was kind of like fragmented out. And there's some really big players out there. You know, when I mean big players, I'm saying guys that just have it all together. They're outside the box thinkers. They're just great operators, and everything's kind of just working all the time. Mm-hmm. And there's this genius network here in town, led by Joe Polish. It's a marketing mastermind, and I've always been infatuated with how that group's organized, because some of the biggest names in the industry of information marketing and digital marketing and self-help go to the Genius Network to be in the group.
They're members of
They're
the
members.
Yeah.
And I'm talking Tony Robbins, Dan Graziosi, Russell Brunson. They're all, Bedros is in there. They're all sitting there in the room. And
these are guys that have their own top level or high level, masterminds themselves. This is the room that they're sitting in. Which
is great. And I was like, gosh, that's very interesting. And, when I was talking to Russell about that, because I was going to join, he's like, man, the networking is next level because you're, in the same room with all these same guys. I was like, well, this is what we need to create in the fitness industry. It didn't exist, and we're still working our way through it. And so I wanted to put together a mastermind of like-minded, driven individuals that are next level, not ones that are needing a lot of help, but they were there because they want to share bigger ideas.
Yes, exactly. Like you said, outside the box thinking, and that's really, we've talked about in the past. That's really where a mastermind should be positioned.
Yes.
It's not a coaching program. It's not, hey, get me to break even, get me to back into the black. That's not where you're going to find the support for a mastermind usually. But yes, next level. What is the next thing? Okay, my gym is maxed out, or I'm at capacity. I'm making great revenue. Do I open another gym? Do I explore real estate? What is the next step? Yeah. And that's what this mastermind absolutely excels at.
Correct. And so the Iron Circle, as I'm going through these numbers just off the cuff here with Black Friday, it's the Iron Circle guys that are doing massive numbers. And it's not that their lists are any bigger or smaller than other. It's just a different operation. So, yeah, Matt, he's got 5 locations. He did 300. He'll give us the numbers later, but he did over $300,000 as of last night, and this was with zero ad spend. There is not anybody out there, nobody can put that flag in the ground. I did $300,000 on email and text message marketing.
Yeah, that's solid.
But he came to us. He joined the Iron Circle to get in on the Black Friday campaign that we were running because he knew. He knew he just needed something, right? He needed to get this together. And so he came in like last minute. We blasted the thing out together. We gave him all the recordings, and here he is, top of the charts.
The other side of it, yeah.
So big props to him. John's in our mastermind in St. Louis, or let's call it the Iron Circle. It's not the, it's an Iron Circle. He's in an Iron Circle. He's doing the best he's ever done. Jeff, our buddy here, Jeff here in town, Iron Circle member. He texted me the other day. He goes, "Man, I've made more in a day. This is nuts. I've made more in a day." Because he purchased a volleyball club.
Yeah,
made more in a day at the volleyball club than he did the entire year at the gym.
Isn't that nuts?
It's just different.
But that's different. Exactly what it is. And if he was having the same conversations with the same people in the same situation that he was in, he probably would not have been exposed to those opportunities, taken action.
He said he would never have done the volleyball club if it wasn't for the Iron Circle.
Well, and where his gym was a couple of years ago, he couldn't have.
Correct.
Because of the time demand that he had in his facility. You know what I mean? He couldn't take on more work or more, another project like that. Mm-hmm. There was no way.
Right.
And now he's in a position. We've taken him from owner-operator to business owner, and now he has the luxury of deciding where else and what else. And, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's a progression of life, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this show's about. This show is about more it's about not these giant campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. But instead of always looking for these giant home run style marketing campaigns, angles, magic bullets, strategies, tactics, the thing, the golden nugget, whatever that thing is that's going to take you from, $20,000 a month to $100,000 a month in one campaign. Instead of that, I think we need to focus. Here we are coming into the end of the year. Focus end of this year to looking at how can we make the minor, small, base hit style changes in your business to get into 2021 to make 2021 your most amazing year. And what I mean by that is how can you reduce payroll by 5% next year? How can you reduce expenses by 7% next year? How can you increase gross revenue by 12% next year over the year? It's not how do we make $100,000 more today? It's over the year. And so by this time next year, you're going to be in the same position that John just told me last night he was in, which is I've never made more money in my entire career. I'm taking home more money. And it's not necessarily that he has more members or, he's generating way, way more. It's he's reduced expenses, become more efficient.
Efficiency, there you go.
And what happens, it goes into his pocket. It goes into the profit line. And that's really what he's talking about. And I would agree. That was, if you remember a year ago.
I was just about to say.
We talked about net profit.
Yep.
Net profit being the thing and the goal of this year. Now, of course, who knew this was going to happen? Mm-hmm. But even then, we've been able to, it's forced us in some ways to reduce and look at everything we're spending money on and what's bringing an ROI, can we do without, and we also invested in a massive mastermind ourselves this year.
Sure.
So there's like these things, I look at the investment and it's a return on investment.
Yep.
We've already starting to see some returns. We have a new path in play in place. And so that's the challenge now for every gym owner out there is maybe change your thinking a little bit to say, hey, you know what, this home run campaign isn't going to be there every time. Maybe you can catch one for Black Friday or whatever, Christmas in July or anniversary.
Or maybe the January rush or something like that. But this is a bigger topic or something that we've kind of covered over and over in a way. And it's not looking for those shiny ball, marketing campaigns. I think the digital marketing scene, especially since Facebook took off, really changed the way that business owners look at their business and look at growth. And, we were spoiled hands down, we were absolutely spoiled when Facebook hit the marketplace as an ad platform. It was stealing when we used to run low barrier offers and get run those campaigns for our clients and things like that. But guys, that is not sustainable, for the long haul. It wasn't there before. Obviously, the results aren't there right now like they were a few years ago. And so you have to understand that there are other areas of business to look at to create wins, to do these, or to look at your P&Ls, to look at where you're spending your money and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't buy this garbage anymore because it's not doing anything there is no return on it, and put that money back into your pocket or put that money back into the business in other ways. Before we started, we were talking about, or I brought up a story. Darren Hardy he's the publisher of Success Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, I got to see him speak. I got to see him speak a couple times, but he brought up a story about, I think it was in his book, The Compound Effect. And he talked about an employee of his that wanted a brand new car. And the ability for her to buy a $50,000 Mercedes just wasn't in the cards where she was expense-wise and stuff. So Darren took her under her wing, and he just showed her that it doesn't take massive shifts. And I think it's, I'm going to butcher his quote, but it's something like seemingly insignificant changes compounded over time lead to massive results.
Right.
And that's exactly what it is. I mean, in our personal lives, a habit once a day. Then the second time it's once it becomes a habit, now you can compound on it. And so what he did is he showed her that as simple as passing up Starbucks on the way to work and coming into work and starting a pot of coffee, the $5 or $7 savings that she had per day, whatever, I don't remember the exact math now, but whatever it was something like under 2 years, she had a brand new $50,000, $70,000 Mercedes. And I want to say she might even had it paid off. Like it was stupid how clear it was on paper once you highlighted just how the math works out. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way for our businesses when it comes to expenses. Goofy things, music subscriptions or software subscriptions. Like I know personally, I've got multiple email addresses. I've had different subscriptions to like Microsoft 365 and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Every month I'm getting hit with at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 charges for these things. I only need one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when was the last time I stopped, looked at everything? And that's from a personal level. Imagine your business. You guys probably have a dozen of these things that just are coming through the business every day, and nobody's taking a look at it. It just is. And so, it's the norm. It's the standard, the status quo. Well, shake things up. You don't have to go spend money to make money. Let's go cut some expenses. Let's go look at where our business is today and figure out those gains, because ultimately they'll roll back into your pocket.
Yeah, 100%. And this is a great time of year because you're coming into the end of the year. Mm-hmm. You've kind of got your full 2020, P&L is kind of going to be shaken out and kind of being real clear here real quick. And you can start looking and spend the time. I mean, the holidays are a great time to relax, but they're also a great time to not have to be in the business because you're a little bit slower, or maybe you got the time off, and you can dig into the business.
Work on the business, yeah.
And start highlighting stuff. And you're going to start noticing, wait a minute, what is this? Look for reoccurring first. I would look for reoccurring because those are subscriptions that are going to hit every month, right? And you might have these one-off charges every once in a while. And you're going to also, and I've done this, you're going to also find fraud. You're going to find fraud in there.
Hell,
all over the place.
There were some massive things that you found.
Yeah.
And these are organizations that you trusted.
Yep.
That there was contracts in place, and I mean those are big issues. And if you weren't looking at the numbers, they aren't volunteering.
No.
That stuff. So
yeah. So you're going to find some stuff like that, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So yeah, if you're never looking at it, you're never going to do it. So just do it, right? So just find the time and do it. Base hits. Change by a couple percentages. How do you make more money? There's the only 3 ways to make more money. But if you're looking, let's review that real quick. More customers, charging more customers more money, like charging more to the same people, or getting to buy more frequently. Mm-hmm. That's gross revenue. And what about net revenue? Well, it's cutting the expenses side, right? Just because you made $1 million, you spent $1 million, you're net zero. Let's, keep the $1 million, or make it 1.1, and then reduce those expenses down to $800, and now you're sitting on $200,000 or $300,000. Yeah, it's a big difference.
That's huge, and I think that where we are, there's the psychology in play in all of this, right? It's easy to sit there and want the new campaign. It's fun, it's sexy, like that's kind of where everyone's focus is. But this is right here in front of all of us every single day, and we just walk right past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It's like this is probably the easiest place to make money in your business, and we always just. It's the last place that we look.
We should probably say keep money in your business.
Keep money in your business. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's you've earned it. Why are you shelling it back out?
Yeah, you're tossing it out. So do that. You'll find yourself giving yourself a nice little raise. Lots of bigger strategies, but then when you're at a certain level, you start looking at tax strategies. You start looking at leveraging your revenue or you making more investments on things. Sure. And then it's the next level. I think I did make a post about this the other day. I realized one brick and mortar gym, even though it's been 10, 12 years now, 11 years, I'm not going to retire. Like, let's be honest. You make good living. You're here. You love what you do. It kind of operates. It's a thing. Right?
Sure.
It's a thing. So what is for me, the next thing was I had to, I was sick and tired of paying the landlord
yeah.
$16,000 a month to have this building. I mean, it's great, but I don't own it. It's going to him. Fine. Let's go build some property. Let's go build a building and become landlords ourselves and see what that looks like.
Yeah, get into the real estate game.
So that's what we're doing. I think we shared that a little bit. We did our city neighborhood open house. Anybody ever drive past a construction site that's just land? You see this big white sign.
The white sign at the public hearing.
It says public hearing, public notice, early construction. And so we had to do that. We did it at the gym on the night before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Had one person show up.
Well, that's okay. That means you're not ruffling too many feathers.
Yeah, strategery. So we got that all out of the way. We're in with the city now, and so we close on the property in the next 30 days, and we'll be moving on with that.
Things become real.
Yeah, it's going to be a big thing, but it's thinking outside the box. So we kind of have things in our, like for ProFit. So ProFit has different services
mm-hmm.
or offerings that we can offer gym owners. And talking to Todd, in our the guy that's coaching us, made a lot of sense. He's like, hey, Tim, this thing over here that you're doing is taking somebody from a -5 to 0. Like in their business, they're struggling, they're hurting, they don't know where to go, and you're taking them from that -5 through our private client coaching, and we're getting them to 0.
Mm-hmm.
From 0 to 10 is another thing, and then those people that are in that level, those are your Iron Circle folks, and they're going to be going to 20.
Yep.
And so that really was nice to see him look at our business that way, and so we can see that thing. So for what I'm telling you to do, everybody that is at that -5, try to work yourself up to a -2. I mean, let's be honest, not everything is rainbows and butterflies this year. Wish it was unicorns floating in the, catching butterflies out in the fields. What does he got? Yeah, the deadlift unicorn.
The deadlift unicorn.
So some of you are at a -5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Some of you are at -10. I mean, there are some people closing.
Yeah.
So how can we get back to 0? Let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic. What can we do? Maybe you're down 10, 20, 30, 50% from where you were last year. What can you do to get back to 0? That's your goal for the end of the year. And if you need our help, that's where our coaching comes in. We can get you to 0 a lot faster, 8 weeks. By this time in, February, you'll be in a different place. But, part of that is looking through your expenses, looking for the base hits. How can you tweak and change 1, 2, 3, 5% on different things? And that's what we're going to guide you to do. And that's what we're wanting you to do on this episode.
And that's, you brought up a good point in your journey about what you're doing with the money that you are earning.
Yeah.
How you're utilizing that and creating another return, right? We talk about multiplying capital, with marketing campaigns and things like that. Well, stepping into the real estate game is essentially the same thing. Really, any way that you as a gym owner want to move the needle in your business, these are areas that you can look at to do so. What is the next step? How can I take this little bit of money that I've got sitting here, and not just go spend it on something that's going to sit on, in the gym floor, like a rack or like a new kettlebell. Yeah. None of the guys, those are not going to bring more money into your business. So when you do have cash flow, the first thing you should be thinking is, what can I do with this to multiply that?
There you go.
How can I create more wealth? And that's going to get you back to 0 or take you to that 5 or 10 or whatever much, much faster than buying something that feels good, makes you kind of stand out for a week in the local community because you got the new hip thrust, piece of equipment. Gotta have the hip thrust.
Butt blaster.
That type of stuff. But at the end of the day, that's not going to make you substantially more money over time. It's not. And there are other areas, coaching, smart marketing,
stocks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million different things outside of the gym too that you could put your money in and invest in. And,
sure.
But these are things that you should be thinking about as a business owner. If your business isn't paying you the return that you feel it should or that you're happy with, look at the business, figure out where you can make some of those wins within the business, and then when you have that capital, where is that capital going? That's the biggest thing I think that we see struggling gym owners do, is like they get a little bit ahead and then all of a sudden they blow it right back into, they put it right back into the same areas that got them where they were. And it's not, you're not creating the change that's needed in order to take you to the next level. So food for thought.
Food for thought. It's just numbers on pieces of paper. It's not scary. Just go do it and dig in, guys. That's it for this show. Until next show, keep changing lives. See you on the next episode. Bye.